As gardeners, we spend a lot of time outdoors, and because we're out in the sunshine all the time, there are a few things that we need to be concerned with. So joining us today is Physician Assistant Kenda Baker with the OSU Wellness Center. Hey Kenda.
Hi Steve.
Welcome back to the program.
Thanks for having me.
So Kenda, when we're outside, we're in the sunshine, you hear people say from time to time that, you know, being out in the warm sunshine, it's good for us. We get vitamin D. So what are the concerns with being outside?
Well, being outside, the main concern is with skin cancer. We all want to enjoy the great outdoors, get some fresh air, but we can usually get our vitamin D requirements within about 10 to 15 minutes a day. So we don't really need to be outside any extended lengths of period just to get our vitamin D. Okay. But we certainly need to use precautions at certain times of the day when the UV rays are at their strongest, which is usually 11 to 4. So the rule of thumb is if your shadow is shorter than you are tall, then it's time to seek precautions.
Okay, that time of the day really critical.
Yes.
All right. So what can we do? What kind of precautions can we take if we're going to be outside all the time?
Seek the shade if you can. Also use protective clothing like hats. You want a hat that has at least a 4-inch brim on it.
Okay.
So no baseball caps.
Okay.
Baseball caps kind of leave the area right through here unprotected. That's a very common area for skin cancer, especially in men who think they're protecting themselves with the baseball cap. Okay. So a wide-brimmed hat. Also protective clothing, something that has kind of a tight weave but a lightweight cotton is good. There are also some specialty clothing. One line I can think of is called Solumbra, and you can go on their website and find clothing that has a specific fabric that has a specific weave and type that kind of protects us against the UV rays. We can also use things like sunglasses. You need to make sure though that they do have a label that says they both protect against UVA and UVB rays. We have chapsticks, lipsticks that have SPF. We have makeup, moisturizers that have SPF. Those kind of things are easy as well. But the most important thing we can do is use sunscreen.
Okay. And when it comes to sunscreen, that SPF, what do we need to look at? Is there any one that's better than the other, or that kind of thing?
SPF is really a guideline to let us know not only the strength, but most importantly the longevity of the product, how often we need to reapply. It's just a guideline. It's different for every person. I'm very fair-skinned. I could burn within about 10 minutes out in the midday sun. So I take that 10 minutes time whatever that SPF label is. Say I pick up an SPF 15. I take that times my 10 minutes, and that means I can stay out in the sun about 150 minutes before I need to reapply. So obviously if you're more fair, you're going to have a higher SPF. But it's really important if you have a product that you like, get the highest SPF. It just means that you can go a little bit longer without having to reapply.
Okay. Well, you know, I'm always putting sunscreen on and on my face. I like the oil-free kind, and you know, I got this last spring, and I really like this brand. So what do you think about it? The
brand is okay. I love that it's oil-free. I love that it has the UVA and the UVB. But if it was last year's, throw it out.
Okay.
It's not any good. The chemicals can denature over time. You have a little bit less strength than what you probably think you're getting, and you also have a much higher risk of allergic reactions because it's been sitting on the shelf for so long. So if it's from last summer, throw it out, get you some new product, and make sure. Also, if you have one that's within like 6 months old, shake it up. When you pour it out or squeeze it on your hand, make sure it doesn't kind of fall apart or look clumpy. If it does, it's probably an old product and needs to be replaced.
Okay, I didn't know that.
The UVA and UVB protection, though, I love, and it's real important to look for that. Most products will have more than one active ingredient in them so that they can provide both protection for UVA and UVB. UVA is an aging ray, and it's present from dawn to sunset, and it's equal strength around the world. The UVB is the burning ray. It's most strong at, I'd say, probably 11 to 4. That kind of varies. It's stronger also at the equator, which is not very good for us Oklahomans. So we need to watch that. TV news has different UV precautions and ratings, and we need to pay attention to those.
All right. Well, how about those sunscreens that say they're waterproof, you can get in the pool and that kind of thing? What about those?
The advertisement is a little bit misleading. Water resistant means it will last up to 40 minutes in water activity, which includes swimming or sweating. Waterproof means it'll last about 80 minutes. So still still not going to last you long, but again, just gives you a timeline of when you need to reapply. But just because it says waterproof doesn't mean that it's going to last all day in the swimming pool. We need to reapply. They also need to go on about 15 minutes before your sun exposure.
Really?
Really, really important. It's a big pet peeve of mine to go to the swimming pool and see mothers slathering their kids with sunscreen and then sending them right into the water. First of all, it hasn't had time to absorb so that it will act properly, and second of all, it's probably going to wash off really quickly because it just hasn't had time to penetrate the skin.
Goodness.
Yeah.
And you mentioned putting sunscreen on kids. Really important for children?
Extremely important. Most of our sun damage is probably done by the time we're 18 years old. So if we can protect our kiddos until they're at least 18, get them into some really good habits. I have 2 kids. They are 8 and 10, and Gage and Jenna are really good about putting their sunscreen on. They know that that's part of our life and it's part of just their health habits. So they complain every now and again, but they're used to it. And if we can start our kids out with those type of habits young, then we'll grow into responsible adults and hopefully decrease the amount of skin cancer. There are over 1 million new cases of skin cancer every year, and about 7,000 people die from skin cancer every year.
Incredible.
So it's one of those cancers that we know exactly what causes it, and we can prevent it. So hopefully we'll be alert and use our precautions.
If someone has a spot or an area on their skin, on their body, anywhere, what should we be looking for? What kind of things?
There are 3 different types of skin cancer. Basal cell is the most common. It accounts for about 80% of skin cancers that we have. Squamous cell is a little bit less common, but it also has the possibility of metastasizing or spreading to other parts of our body and can be deadly. It doesn't happen very often, but it can be. Malignant melanoma is the 3rd type and the most dangerous type because it certainly can be deadly and is every year. With basal cells, it's usually going to look like a little sore that won't heal, maybe a little bump, or maybe a little crusted area. But again, it's not going to give you a lot of pain or sensitivity symptoms. People go a long time without realizing that it is a skin cancer. With squamous cell, they're going to be more nodular, a little bit more raised. They will look a little more scarier, but they don't give anybody any symptoms. So again, they get overlooked real often. Basal cell and squamous cell will come up on sun-exposed areas. So anywhere that you've maybe had a sunburn, those areas will be most prone for basal cell and squamous cell. Malignant melanoma, though, can come up where the sun does not shine. It can come up on the bottom of your feet. It can come up on your bottom. It can come up wherever it wants to, basically.
It doesn't have to be where you've gotten a sunburn?
It doesn't have to be where you've gotten a sunburn.
Did not know that.
About 30% of melanomas are going to be from an existing mole. We always tell people to have, if you have moles, watch them for changes. But about 70% of them are going to be new. They're going to be hopefully flat, black, easy to spot, usually bigger than a pencil eraser, but sometimes they just look odd, or they may have kind of a sensitivity or a growing period. And those are things that people should not overlook. See your physician about them, have somebody look at it, see if it needs to be biopsied. Most skin cancer is very treatable if we catch it early.
Okay, so the best way to prevent these cancers is by using sunscreen. And Kenda, do you have any favorite types of sunscreen?
I do. I have my personal favorites. I love Arbonne skincare. They're all natural. They are botanically based. They are pH correct for the skin. They don't contain any dyes or fragrances or mineral oil, so they're really good for all types of skin. They have a regular line called Damage Control. Again, it has an SPF of at least 30. It will react against UVA and UVB sun rays. Excuse me. They also have a baby line called ABC that has an SPF of 30. Now this has a zinc base to it. This has more of a chemical type reaction so that it absorbs the UV rays. This one will react physically, so it blocks the rays physically. But this is great for really sensitive skin and great for little kids and safe for kids. The other line that I like is Bullfrog. Bullfrog and Pre-Sun make really great gels, and they're great for men. Men tend to be our pickiest users and sometimes our most athletic, so they don't want things that will feel like they're caked on their skin or feel like they're wearing the golf course or the garden home.
Or makeup.
Exactly. So they like the gels. So Pre-Sun, Bullfrog, and Coppertone Sport would be the 3 that I'd recommend for men.
Okay. Well, there you have it. We absolutely need to be aware of our bodies and check out our skin, make sure we don't have any of those areas starting to form and that kind of thing, and wear that sunscreen. Very important. Well, now I'm heading to the store to get some new sunscreen because Kenda just threw mine away.